Good morning. Welcome to my kitchen. This morning I'm going to make you some homemade gluten-free butter tarts. And for those of you who have tasted my butter tarts know they're good, even though they're gluten-free. So I'm going to go through this, and I won't go too quickly. You can write down the measurements if you like, but this is something I've been wanting to do for a while. So welcome to my new kitchen. And maybe down the road I'll be posting some more recipes, because over the last year and a few months I have discovered a few good recipes that are gluten-free and that are just as good as wheat products. So first of all, I'm going to make my pie crust. Now this is not my original recipe. I have found it online somewhere, but I'm going to go through it with you, and I have used it many times and it works quite well. So what we have is half a cup of tapioca pudding, or flour, sorry. we don't want to put tapioca pudding in our pie crust. Then we have half a cup of cornstarch, and we're going to put that in there. And then we have a quarter cup of potato starch, not potato flour, okay? What's the difference? I don't know, but just follow the recipe and it won't go wrong. And 1 cup of rice flour. Now if I wander away from the camera to get something, don't fret, I'll be back. I have nobody to move the camera for me, so I've got it stationed in one spot, okay? So anyway, we've got our flour, and then we're going to do a dash of sugar, which is just, I use my fingers. Sometimes I put 2 little pinches, because that's what a dash is. Half a teaspoon of salt. And I really don't measure that. I just kind of guess, because salt, some people don't like salt. It's, if your butter's salted, then don't add it. And 1 round teaspoon of xanthan gum. And this is what holds your dough together, okay? So it takes the place of, I believe, gluten. I'm not sure, because gluten is what holds your the consistency of your dough. So you need this, otherwise it will not come together. And you can get this at the bulk barn, anywhere really. It's not cheap. I believe it's about $14 for this little bag. But this little bag has lasted me quite a while, and I like to bake. Those who know me know I like to bake. So this is a new bag that I'm opening, otherwise I guess I should have had it open, but let me just find my scissors here. A lot of times people will taste my cookies and my butter tarts and not really know they are gluten-free. And I'm not going to get into a teaching here about what gluten does to you, but you can research that yourself. But gluten is not something that is good for you, and it's found in a lot of foods. So we're going to add a rounded teaspoon, not level, but rounded. So I like to add a good rounded teaspoon. We're going to put that in there. Do this back up. Okay, and then what we do now is we mix the wet ingredients. And we're going to use half a cup of butter and half a cup of shortening. So we've got our shortening. My butter's hard, so I have to dig it out of the stuff I keep in my cupboard. And we need half a cup of each. So let's get our half a cup here. I'm still not used to where my things are in these drawers, seeing that everything's been changed, but I'm not complaining. It's so nice to cook in the new kitchen. Things that, more room and stuff, but so we're packing this in here. For those of you who are not bakers, keep in mind it is very important that you do exactly what the recipe calls for, because if you skimp out, it's going to cause your recipe, not the consistency of your recipe, not to be good, and then you'll wonder what went wrong, right? I gotta watch I don't get hair in my food. Nobody likes to find hair in their food, right? We had a birthday cake over the weekend. I won't say where it's from because I might get in trouble. But we found a pretty long hair in the birthday cake from a company that I know they wear hairnets. So anyway, don't matter, you're not going to be tasting these anyway. They're for my family and my husband. So here's half a cup of butter. It's packed in there nice and tight. I'm going to get another bowl to put this in. And we're going to scoop that in here. And then we're going to put that aside. We're going to get our vegetable shortening. I like to use vegetable shortening. I don't use lard, that's pig fat. So I use vegetable shortening. I believe it was half a cup. Yes, half a cup of each. So you have half a cup of butter and half a cup of shortening. Baking is one of my passions. I love to bake. I love to create. I love to eat it too. That's for sure. And we're going to scoop that in there. Make sure you get it all. Okay, so once we've done that, set that aside, we're going to take 1 egg, which I have here, 1 egg. You know, whether it's at room temperature or just freshly out of the fridge, I don't think that matters. It might matter if you're making bread. I've done both and I've never seen any problems either way. So we've got 1 egg, and then we're going to 1 teaspoon of white vinegar, tablespoon, sorry. 1 tablespoon of white vinegar. And we'll put that in the egg. And then we're going to, which I didn't do, but I'm going to get some ice. And we'll let that water get a little on the cold side. Actually, I should have, I'm going to put my flour in here because I'm going to be beating the egg, the butter, and set that over here. Okay, let me see now. So we've got our egg, our tablespoon of vinegar, and then we're going to add 4 tablespoons of ice cold water to the mixture. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Alrighty. So now what we're going to do is, it says to blend well all your flour mixtures. Another good thing that you can do is sift them. I sometimes do when I'm making bread, not so much pastry crust, but I do, if I'm making like shortbread cookies or other cookies, I will sift the flours, but pie crust, I don't do that. So we're going to beat the egg in the measuring cup in the bowl with the vinegar and the ice water. And this is going to go into the flour mixture. And the thing about, I wished I could bring the camera to show you, but when we mix it in the mixer, you're going to, actually I didn't need to take that out of the bowl, I just realized that, but that's okay. You're going to notice when you use gluten-free flours, it's going to be very wet, opposed to a flour consistency of a regular pie crust flour, because of the no gluten. So you have to work it in and keep working it in. It's going to look wet, but it will come together. So we're going to throw that in there, and we're going to let that mix. And as that's mixing, again, we'll go over the measurements, okay, for the pie crust. It's half a cup of tapioca flour, half a cup of cornstarch, quarter cup of potato starch, not potato flour, 1 cup of white rice flour, a dash of sugar, approximately half a teaspoon of salt, 1 rounded teaspoon of xanthan gum, half a cup of butter, half a cup of shortening, 1 egg, 1 tablespoon of vinegar, 4 tablespoons of ice water, okay? So you're gonna blend the flours and the xanthan gum together, and then you're going to beat the egg in a measuring cup with your ice water and your vinaigrette, and then you're going to mix the butter and the shortening and the flour together until it consists of a crumbly mixture. And again, I can't show you that, but it will look like crumbling, okay? Just like, so let that beat a few times. And as it's breaking up, then you can start to add your liquid to the flour, okay? And it's looking pretty crumbly. So we're going to slowly add the liquid to the pie crust. I really should have opened a bake shop, you know, in my younger years, because I really do love baking. I love eating it, as I said, but I think baking is fun. And it's good because you can bless somebody with, you know, a dozen cookies or a dozen butter tarts. It's something that everybody likes to eat. Not everybody can eat it, but everybody likes to eat it. And it's mixing, it's coming together quite nicely. And you're slowly adding the liquid. Slowly adding the liquid. In the meantime, I'll just get rid of some of this stuff, clean it up. Okay, so I'm going to speed it up a bit, get things rolling here. You can't overbeat this type of pie crust, this dough. And we are done. Actually, this turned out good. Sometimes it turns out kind of a little wetter, but it turned out good. So then what we're going to do, we're going to take it out of the bowl. And as you can see, it's a nice, actually it's very nice to work with. I actually like working with this dough better than the regular dough. I know my husband, he always says every year, bake me a normal apple pie. I don't know if it's because he'll eat this, but I think he prefers the crust. So I'm going to wrap it up in some cellophane, and we're going to refrigerate it for a little bit. And then we're going to work on, because I'm making butter tarts today. I don't know if I said that. We're going to wrap it up in cellophane, and we're going to put it in the fridge and let it get nice and cold, because it's good to work with cold pie crust. Another thing you can do once you've rolled it out and you've made your little shells for your tarts, you can put it back in the fridge before you bake it, and that for some reason makes your tarts a little crisper. Okay. So now what we're going to do